2 more pages? No, it's not 2 more pages. I don't know where you keep on getting these numbers. That is incorrect. Wrong, but it is almost done.
You're going to love this. Trust me, what you're seeing now is my normal state. This is a Super Saiyan. And this is what is known as a Super Saiyan that has ascended past a Super Saiyan. You could just call this a Super Saiyan 2.
What a useless transformation. You've changed your hair, so what?
Just wait.
Has he really found a way to surpass an ascended Saiyan? Is that possible?
He must be bluffing. I mean, what was that naked? Double ascended?
And this
What's he doing?
is to go even further beyond.
Let's fucking go! Let's do it! What's up, chat? I am actually very close to being finished with Chapter 1. And I feel my power level increasing. No more timer for now. I should start the timer as well. Notice what this timer says, 8 hours. That's how much I was drawing in the last 24 hours. Which is the normal amount of time you would spend if you were working at a 9-to-5 job. But it's still a lot, 8. Considering I used to be like, after like 4 hours, I was like, fuck this. We're essentially doubling shit. Now we just get that to 10 hours, and then multiply that by 7 per week, and then we get to that 70-hour work schedule that is necessary for an average mangaka. Not a weekly mangaka, like a monthly mangaka probably. You say you don't work full-time as a freelancer. When I was actually making money, unlike what I'm doing right now, which is entirely just a hobby, I wasn't working full-time at all. Of death. This awaken. 22-hour workday. You're not living the mangaka lifestyle until you start thinking in terms of like how much sleep do I have to cut, which I'm definitely not doing. So I'm just living normal waking hours. It's hard to both improve quality and improve speed and improve total number of hours you're doing at the same time. If I started like cutting sleep, I have no doubt that the actual quality of the artwork that I'm doing would go down, so... Thanks for streaming, love your comics. Thank you. I haven't really been posting much in my normal format in the past month because I've just been working on this, but we'll be getting back to the normal schedule after I'm done with Chapter 1, and then I will start working on Chapter 2, but... I spent 6 hours at a dealership yesterday. What, buying a car? Or like selling cars? Or is it a different type of dealership, like a drug dealership where you were buying methamphetamines? You are actually serious about working on a Chapter 2? Impressive. I have to at least make it into like... The whole point of starting this was because I got sick of doing short-term storytelling in these just 4-page chunks. So... if I don't continue it in some sort of long-term, then it kind of defeats the purpose. I wouldn't have started the first time. We'll draw till Chapter 3 and see if how popular it is, and then we'll decide if it continues or not, I guess is how I'm thinking about it. Settled on one with 24 miles for 27,000. I mean, 24,000 miles is basically a new car, depending on the model, I guess. So, at 27,000, that's not that bad. Isn't that the general length of a one-shot? In general, you'll be asked to draw a one-shot at somewhere in between 30 pages and 40 pages or so. 31 pages is a general length that you'll often ask to work on a one-shot at if you're something you're going to send in. I personally think that 31 page is a really weird length. I mean, has any of you like read a one-shot that you really, really liked? I can't really name many one-shots that I thought were that good. 31 pages is a really weird length. It's too long to actually like be like a short comic, but it's too short to be like to do anything. I don't know. I always thought it was too fucking short. Murata's Dangan Tenchi fan club is pretty good. I mean, I read it. I didn't think it was particularly that good. But that's just because I don't like the one-shot in general. I just think everything at that length isn't particularly good. The style is what has carried it. What you're just saying is that all you're saying is that Murata is the best modern mangaka artist in terms of his drawing ability, and therefore no matter what he draws is going to be good. That's basically all you're saying, which is something that we already knew. It's like saying that this game is good because it's using Unreal Engine 5 and has great lighting, basically. Anyways, if you actually like reading those 31-page one-shots that mangaka wannabes have to draw because they have to send something to the publisher, you can read them for free in Japanese on the Jump Plus manga website, where they have the rookie section, which basically has all the shit that the amateurs have to send in, and nobody reads it, to be fair. If you look at the number of people who read the comic that is listed, it's like 1,000 people at most. People don't really spend enough time on that shit. If you have a Twitter audience, it's legitimately better to just post it on Twitter, like I am. I'd say it's more like how people are crazy about Stellar Blade because the chick is hot. I mean, isn't that what One Punch Man and everything Murata does in general, actually, if you think about it? If Murata wasn't really talented at drawing cute girls, then, and he was only talented at drawing the other stuff that he's really good at drawing at, like you know, being able to draw Saitama fight on the moon of Jupiter and stuff like that. Do you think it would be even close to being as popular? That's basically what Toriko was. The fucking Toriko author is insanely talented at manga drawing, especially like pen texture, to the point that I have an entire folder of images from Toriko that I use when I want to figure out how to do pen textures on objects and stuff like that. But he was completely incapable of drawing females that are attractive in any way. And Jump tried to push it as the next big thing, and it never caught on. Murata is so fucking above everyone else that doesn't really bother me. That story having certain pitfalls in Murata's adaptation, that's an incorrect interpretation of the situation. It's not an adaptation by Murata. One is still doing a lot of the shit. I don't know what degree that one is drawing the storyboards, but I assume he's still drawing most of the storyboards. BB misogynistic dick at it again. I will have you know that Reddit men writing woman, the Reddit board, reposts my comics and enjoys my stuff. Are you actually making a full-on comic with a story, or is this a 1-2 page thing only? This is too small for you to see, probably, but it says 132. 1 being the first chapter, 32 being page 32. It's 37 or 38 pages. Oh no, wait, is it 39 pages if I count the cover? I have a 0 and it goes to 38. How many pages do I have? No, yeah, it goes to 38, so it's 39 pages counting the cover. That's chapter 1. I felt limited by being forced to draw short 4-page comics. You're gonna publish that online? I'm gonna post it on Patreon first. So give me money on Patreon, and then eventually I'll post it on Twitter. Solus is already has the voice work done for it, and he's just waiting for me to finish the fucking comic. That's 5 pages above the usual monthly manga length. Sometimes they give you 50 pages, sometimes they give you like 40 pages, sometimes they give you 30 pages for monthly manga. In general, it's a bad sign if they don't give you extra pages, whether it's weekly or monthly. You have to be prepared to draw 60 pages a month pretty much in every situation, but you're rarely actually going to get 60 pages unless the publishing company actually really likes you. Think of making a full-on page for it, specifically like most webcomics do. It would probably bring at least some extra bucks for Patreon, maybe. I'd have to set up a new website. I don't feel like people actually do blogs like with separate pages anymore in this day and age. I was considering it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. Once again, I require your financial support. I do require your financial support. Webtoon makes your comic site, webcomic site automatically. I will never use Webtoons for several reasons. One, because their audience is primarily that of 12-year-old girls. So we're talking about a different situation than the audience that's on Twitter. And two, all of their shit is fucking scrolling, and this isn't scrolling, and I'm never gonna do scrolling. Fuck scrolling. And they probably take a larger percentage of views and shit than Patreon does. So I disagree with their general approach from many different directions. And they have enough people on the Webtoon infrastructure that it will be way harder for me to get noticed using Webtoon than it is just like straight up posting on Patreon. I just don't think it's worth it. It's more like manhwa wannabe site, isn't it? It is manhwa. I mean, at this point, Webtoons is the most dominant form of manhwa. And I don't mean that as a good thing. Ever thought about prints? I'm not drawing this at a large enough resolution for printing. And I don't want to do self-publishing or printing or any of that shit. It's too much work. I refuse to shoulder any costs for what I'm doing. I've already learned my lesson with setting up Redbubble shops. That all the people who are like, "Oh my God, you should have merchandise," they just want merchandise, but from a money-making standpoint, it's not really worth it for me. Anything that creates physical objects, when you cut the cost from the entire equation and think about it in terms of profit, for me, it's really not worth it. This is a rom-com, yes. Playing on repeat. Yes, it's 1 hour of Bury the Light. It took me a while to notice. I thought it was going on for a while. Probably a gym rat montage for gains. Yes. I went to that directly from the Super Saiyan 3 mix, so I assume it's for a gym rat montage. God, there's like 18 billion lo-fi, 24/7 lo-fi hip-hop music channels on YouTube. I wonder if you're going to have lizard people in your setting. Lizard people are hard to draw. The problem with these, like, lo-fi hip-hop DMCA-free stuff is that it's always just, like, extremely repetitive. I want hi-fi hip-hop, but no, we have to have our scratchy sounds in the background. You don't have to draw the individual scales. Unlike all the people in chat, I'm not a scaly or a furry, so drawing animal anatomy isn't exactly easy for me. I don't spend every day of my life thinking about horse cock and stuff, so it's not as easy for me to draw lizard people. I know this is a very difficult concept for some of you to understand, but yeah, I don't draw lizard people every day. It's a lot of extra anatomy I have to think about. Did you see the Christian furry artist who didn't want to draw gay stuff? I imagine it's a pretty common problem. Horsecock isn't just a furry thing, to be fair. If it's just the cock, it's not that hard to draw, to be honest. It's when you have to think about the general anatomy of like how the animal person walks around and the snout and stuff, and to what amount. See, drawing manga is all about to what amount are you gonna abbreviate stuff, you know? So if you have a different animal, then you have to abbreviate differently as well. So unless you actually are a scaly, it's kind of not worth my time. Are Draenei girls considered furry? Not really. In my opinion, cat girls aren't furry. And on a similar note, if it's just the hooves, then it's not furry either. I think whether you have the snout or not is the real differentiator between furry and non-furry. Oh my god, shut the fuck up, cat. Our house's cat has gotten so loud recently. She just goes meow all the time. Is it just me, or are all the people who show up on the weekend way more annoying than on weekdays? It's probably just because I've been drawing too much that I have much less tolerance for dealing with you guys right now. Does he need to be fed, or is it wailing in pain? It's just fucking old. Old cats behave like that. You mean chatters? Yes. This is the normal thing where I get annoyed at chat just because I get sick of other human beings. Hey, Ouroboros Worm, thanks for the sub. I appreciate the support. You're almost at 12 months. You can do it. Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done with chapter 1, which isn't saying much, but it is. We are almost done, and I'm getting faster and more capable of drawing for longer periods of time, so I just need to keep on remembering that if you want to become a pro mangaka, you have to draw 1,000 pages. So every page I draw is like adding to that counter. That's how I've decided to think about it. Did you play Hades 1? No, motherfucker. I haven't been playing any video games. I guess that would be a better response if you asked about Hades 2, but I haven't played 1 either. I thought about it, but I don't know. I haven't had a good track record in terms of enjoying Supergiant games. Roguelites can eat your time. I have like 300 hours in Slay the Spire, so I've been wasting plenty of time when it comes to playing video games. He hates us unless we give him large sums of money. Yeah, but even if you give me large sums of money, I'll still ban you. Never forget that. I have a little over 300 and still haven't beaten the heart. You mean on Ascension 20 or just like period? Because if you have over 300 hours and haven't beaten the heart period, that's pretty fucking bad, not gonna lie. You should be able to beat the heart at like 20 hours on Ascension 1 if you're just playing Ironclad and keep on rolling until you get Corruption Dead Branch, and then you can just beat it. Confusing my hours in STS with Risk of Rain. I haven't played Risk of Rain either. I hate card games. The thing about Slay the Spire is once you start to get into the higher difficulty levels of it, it really does become a game in which you have to do fucking math before you do anything. It literally becomes like I have to do arithmetic multiple times per turn and make sure like I actually calculate all the damage and shit, which is not fun if you don't like math. So the fact that I've stuck with it for so long says a lot about the fact that I like the other elements of it, like the decision making and shit. But yeah, you have to do a lot of math, period. It kind of sucks. Risk of Rain was bought by Gearbox and they haven't done anything worth mentioning with it. Was Gearbox the Borderlands company publisher? I can't remember. Or is that a different Gear company? Gearbox. There's too many companies with the name Gear in it, and I keep on getting confused. Path of Exile was Grinding Gear Games? I don't know. Gearworks was not World of Warcraft, Warhammer, right? See, I already thought of like 3 different Gear titled nerd-related, nerd-adjacent companies here, which means that there's too many companies with the word Gear in them. Oh, that's Games Workshop, yeah. Games Workshop, you shouldn't be allowed to have that as your fucking company name. That's too general. That's like the time that Apple got in a fight with Apple Records over who has the copyright to Apple, the word Apple, and neither of them publish anything. Neither of them are Apple companies. One is a fucking computer company and the other is a music company that has the rights to the Beatles music. The Apple company should be an actual company that actually sells fucking apples. Cat having the time of his life in the background. It's a she, and that cat can seriously fuck off. That cat is one of like the most self-centered pets we've had in a long time. In that she is never satisfied, no matter how much you pet her. It's always me, me, me all the time. My mother openly complains about the cat, despite it her being her cat, because she had another cat that was like an extremely loyal dog that she loved, and then that cat died from cancer recently. So she's stuck with the other cat who she clearly doesn't love as much. And I always point out how weird it is that she has like her favorite son of cats. And like one cat is clearly inferior to the other one, but it be like that sometimes. So she's like every cat ever. People who say that every cat ever is like super self-centered, blah blah blah, are not cat people and haven't had cats as pets. The interesting thing about cats is that they have wildly different personalities depending on them. They're not like dogs where the dog has specific personality of the breed. Cats have very different personalities depending on the cat. My mother is a cat person, so I've been forced to live with cats my entire life, and they all have been extremely different. Good thing you don't have siblings. I don't care if I'm the least loved child by my mother as long as she doesn't kick me out of the house or force me to start paying rent. That's way more important than whether she loves me or not. As long as I can financially leech off of her support as long as possible. That's what's important here. And then I get some amount of inheritance. That's what's important here. I don't care about any of that good son shit. In general, cats are less reserved about making their displeasure known. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't have any dogs, but I have to hear dogs going woof, woof, woof all the fucking time, every time when I fucking jog. Dogs are annoying as and obnoxious as hell. There was a neighbor whose dog was barking all night to the point where we're like, what's wrong with it? And my mother actually called the cops because she thought that maybe it was trying to go full Lassie mode and warn us that its owner had like passed out from a stroke or had been murdered on the floor or something like that. But no, it just turned out that the neighbors had just went downtown for a nice relaxing evening and left the dog alone for like 3 hours, and it decided it was going to fucking lose its mind and just bark nonstop for the entire night. And the cops had to come and do a fucking welfare check because it was so weird. So yeah, the idea that dogs will just like shut up and take it if they feel unhappy in any way is completely wrong as well. No dog sitter, tisk tisk. You should be able to leave your dog alone for like 3 hours without getting the cops called on you. Dogs don't always bark when they're upset. A lot of them are just dumb. A lot of them just bark in general because they're fucking retarded. I'm still traumatized by this Mozart song because it's like one of the easiest songs to play on piano. So when I was at daycare when I was like 5 or 6, the kids that were being forced to learn piano from their parents, there was a piano in the daycare and they would just play this fucking song again and again and again all fucking day to the point that I have hated it my entire life now. It's really interesting to show what being overexposed to music will do to you. Because now I hate this song for life. Similarly, my roommate kept on playing Coldplay throughout my freshman year of college, and I have hated Coldplay ever since. I listened to Yellow 10,000 times, or The Speed of Sound 10,000 times, or whatever, and I was just like, it didn't bug me at first, but eventually it drove me close to insane. No kid genuinely enjoys the piano. All of them are drilled and guilted into liking it. Yeah. Their mother is like, you're going to be great, unlike me. I'm glad my mother didn't waste my time with that shit, because I'm one of the least musically talented human beings on the planet. And it would have been a complete waste of time for all of us, all of the parties involved, so... I stopped liking Pink Floyd after a friend couldn't stop listening to The Wall and Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd is the classical music of classic rock. It's the equivalent to parents getting their kids to listen to Mozart as babies because they think it will make their child smarter. Boomer dad making his son listen to boomer rock. You can go even further boomer than Pink Floyd, honestly. I feel like Pink Floyd is a little actually too modern for it to be the true boomer, the boomer bands. If you want to have a true boomer parents, they're going to be like, you have to listen to this, and they give you a fucking an Eagles, their massive Eagles collection or something. Phil Collins. I don't know. I turn on the radio when I'm driving, and Elton John was coming on, and I was like, "Yep, Elton John. They don't make it like they used to." Rocket Man. I listen to Taylor Swift, by the way. Again, I'm forced to listen to Taylor Swift. If I have the radio on, you get the fucking Taylor Swift experience, whether you like it or not. She's coming to get you. There's no way to escape. Love Story by Taylor Swift played for the millionth time on the radio. What were the Japanese listening to in the 80s? I don't know, like city pop. City pop is the new lo-fi hip-hop on YouTube, by the way. There's like 8,000 Japanese 80s city pop lo-fi playlists as well. Damn, this really is just like make your baby smarter playlist, isn't it? Music in 2030 will just be noise. Honestly, already sounds just like noise for me when I have to listen to like Kendrick Lamar. Half of hip hop R&B just sounds like noise to me at this point. Trap was a horrible mistake. This page is too white. I'm trying to figure out how to make it darker. Add some diversity. I already did by making these silhouettes gray. Fill tool, but what to fill in? That is the question. Do you ever use halftones? I mean, isn't that what gray is, ultimately? This isn't drawn in a way for publishing. Halftone patterns like dots? Yeah, that's what gray is. So this is actual gray coloring, so I couldn't publish it in a black and white context. However, if I was drawing it at a higher resolution, using a halftone with the dot patterns would be the same effect as having a bunch of gray. Jesus fucking Christ. Automod. The reason why it's a bunch of dots is because the way black and white publishing works, there is no such thing as gray tones in black and white publishing, which is why you have to have like 1,000 dots to make the eye look like it's looking like gray. So if you're not publishing it and you're just using the actual gray color, then it's exactly the same thing. Is this Vivaldi? Yeah, this is still Vivaldi's Spring, right? The shit is so recognizable. Although I guess most people won't be able to recognize stuff other than Spring. Like, I'm pretty sure if I heard Vivaldi's Winter or whatever, I wouldn't be able to recognize it at all. Four Seasons, right? I think so. We're basically listening to the vanilla ice cream of classic music right now, so... Even if you don't like classical music, you probably can recognize 99% of this shit in here. I think part of the reason why I can't name most classical music is because it's all called like Prelude in D minor number 5 or some shit like that. So as soon as you have like something that actually has some actual name to it, like The Flight of the Bumblebee or Spring or Moonlight Sonata, it just immediately stands out. Because everything else is just titled like Concerto C plus D minor in Java or some shit like that. And if you don't know what that means, you're just like, I don't know. What the fuck is that? Diss tracks weren't invented yet. I think they were, actually. Wasn't there like a shit ton of competition between all the people living in Prague or wherever the fuck it was? What was it, Austria? What was the one city where there was like all the musical composers in one location? Weren't they all like fighting over musical dominance? I'm pretty sure they had diss tracks in one way or the other. I shit on Bach. Mozart would have been a banger, yes. Mozart was at the top, so he didn't need to shit on anybody. He was basically in the how does my ass taste mode his entire life, so... I guess we just go full black here instead of adding some extra stuff. Yeah, I think it's fine. Oh. My god, chat is incredibly stupid today. Please improve your quality of questions and entertain me. I know it's supposed to be the opposite way around, but I can't be bothered. If only I was a female, an anime girl, then we could get posters being like, haha, can I be your boyfriend, teehee? And then I could make fun of them, but unfortunately, no. You could always just rig an avatar. We've had this discussion many times, but I don't think it's actually worth it. I don't see any proof that people with the VTuber avatars actually get more viewers. Because, like, if you look in the art section, which is what we're technically doing right now, there's a ton of people below me in viewer count, like way below me in viewer count, who have a properly functioning avatar. So I don't really think it's really that helpful, to be honest. Set bucket fill to reference every line and fill that shit in. My lines aren't properly closed, so it would not work well. I have some lines open, like right here, see? 2, I hadn't really decided that I wanted to fill everything in when I started blacking it out. I'm making decisions as I go based on how dark I think the page needs to be. So, it's not actually like a realistic... Like, if I knew exactly what I was doing and what exactly the page was supposed to look like, then I could use the paint bucket tool and draw based on the assumption that I could use the paint bucket tool, but that's not really how my brain process works. Basically, what I want to say is all of you fuckers don't actually draw and aren't as good as me, so you have no fucking idea what my artistic process is. Eat my ass. That's what I want to say, basically. Every once in a while, someone will say something productive, and then I will give them credit for it. But 99% of the time, it's like any streamer where the viewership is like, oh no, streamer is playing the wrong card in the Magic the Gathering arena or whatever. There's a close gap function. Oh, fuck off. It doesn't work, dude. I have like 8,000 layers and stuff. There is no... You'd think that this is what AI would be used for, is to be able to predict how to fill stuff based on AI, but no, instead we just get it to produce, you know, the same fucking coom image a million times. But there isn't any AI bucket tool, unfortunately, that actually can predict stuff. The reason why you guys are all like, use the bucket function is because the pictures that you draw are just like fucking Kirby. So you can just use the bucket function on making Kirby pink because all you're drawing is a bunch of circles and stuff. I'm not going to say I've used all of the Clip Studio Paint convenient tools and shit, but there's a bunch of artists in the Discord channel yet, and so far none of them have given me any more suggestions for any more productive way than actually just like manually coloring shit in. Lasso fill would work well here. I used lasso fill for like 5 seconds because Mashima Hiro, the author of Fairy Tail, was like, lasso fill is fucking god tier, and I used it, and I decided that it makes about 1 minute difference, which really doesn't make much difference. It's more important to just draw faster than use various lasso fill. It doesn't mesh very well with my brain on how I think of stuff and the process my brain has. Don't speak to me unless you are a single layer Chad. I have like 10,000 layers here, and I'm going to have to merge down, is how I work. As I get better, I've been doing more stuff on single layers, but shit that I know that I want to redraw, like hair and like the jaw shape and stuff, I always do it on a different layer. The bucket tool lasso fill really isn't as productive as you might think it is. Like, yes, that's slightly faster than going like this, but it's only slightly. It only saves like 30 seconds at most per fill in, if you ask me. The poor software devs that have to keep 1,000 plus layer files fast and stable. It's not as hard as you might think, considering Clip Studio Paint has had like that type of functionality for the last 15 years. That's why Microsoft Paint is superior. The people who use Microsoft Paint always have to advertise that they're using Microsoft Paint because it's a fucking shitty drawing program, and then everyone's like, oh my god, he's using Microsoft Paint. He's so quirky. Same thing with people who draw with mouses. It's like, look at this obviously inferior tool I'm using, and everyone's like, oh my god, that's so quirky. Teehee. What a wacky guy. It's like both a aren't I quirky, aren't I hipster kind of thing, and also like running away from trying to be good. Because then you can always be like, haha, this isn't that good, but I was drawing in MS Paint. It's like you're already coping for shit to begin with. You're not willing to throw yourself out there and try to actually produce the highest quality object. You have a built-in cope that I'm only using Microsoft Paint. Sticks on rock. Sticks on rock works well. Also, if you're trying to become a studio artist in the art world, then you should use your period blood to draw. That's what I use. It shows my profound struggling as a woman. I fight against the patriarchy by painting with my period. When I have a low flow day, or a low flow month, I guess, it hurts my production, but that's what it means to be an authentic feminist artist. Hemorrhoid blood. It's easier if you're using your hemorrhoid blood because you can always supply more every day. Just make sure that you don't eat enough fiber, and then you have plenty of hemorrhoids. You can always go the route of shitting out paint out of your asshole, and then you'll have even more stuff. Stop! I'm eating red velvet cake. I mean, don't let that ruin your appetite. It's not that similar. What the fuck, did it stop already? No. It's just long pause between. What the fuck? That was like a 5-minute silence gap. Do you recommend any books to learn fundamentals of drawing? Pretty much every book on the fundamentals of drawing is going to give you similar advice, honestly, so you don't really have to worry too much about which one you're choosing. It's all about learning human anatomy and how to see shapes and learning how to observe stuff. Ultimately, it's all just going to be like learning how to observe things and then draw from reality and draw what you see, that type of stuff. So pretty much every book is going to teach you the same stuff, honestly. Is pornography good reference material? If you're talking about actual human beings, then yes, it's good reference material. Not drawn photography. Don't pull out your favorite hentai magazine and learn from that. Go to Pornhub. Go to the actual video and then like pause it and draw from that. What you don't want to do is you don't want to go directly toward manga style abbreviating the human form when you're still a beginner. Because abbreviation of the human form is based on knowing how to draw more realistically. So it's more advanced than... it's like first you have to learn how to draw from what you see, and then you can draw more manga style shit. Doujinshi with your manga when somebody else draws it, that's when. What doujinshi means is it means magazine with same character, I think. It's same person, but I think the jin in this person is in this case is like the same character. See, this is why I don't like classical music. Now that we're out of like the standard Mozart section, you get into this classical music where it doesn't really sound like it has a hook, you know? It doesn't go through the catchiness of how we've created modern music. Or just like a lot of up and down, but it doesn't really feel like it's going anywhere. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not making sense. But, and it will just suddenly go from like one mood to another without any real like explanation of it. Like at least with Vivaldi and it's like spring, you can kind of feel that it's supposed to be like a storm or something in spring or some shit like that. Stop posting Peepo Comfy. What the fuck? Do you guys even see the emotes? I forgot to reinstall what is it? Better Twitch TV or 7 TV or whatever. So I don't even know if the emotes are visible to you guys or not. I can't remember if it's going on my end or if it's going on your end. No, LOL, 7 TV, I can. Okay, so the 7 TV emotes are entirely on the user end. Is that how it works? So it doesn't really matter whether I install shit or not. I can't remember. As long as you guys have your 7 TV extension installed, you just get to see stuff. Is that how it works? You have forgotten to install that 7 TV for the past year. You know what? For all of you dopamine addicted Zoomers out there, it's probably good that you have like one stream in which it has no 7 TV in it or whatever. You could use a break from that endless dopamine addiction that you get in all the other streams. With all of your fucking fish mollies and various gotchi animations and stuff, all that shit playing at the same time. Gotta turn off the dopamine receptors once in a while. You are streaming what you see in chat. Okay, I don't care. You guys have probably seen Peepo Comfy enough times that it's probably recreated in your brain automatically. I assume that you guys have been mind-fucked by Twitch that hard at this point. The fish moly reference went over my head. I Google it and it's fishes. It's that rotating fish that you see every once in a while in some Twitch streams. It was extremely popular for like 2 weeks, like all of these emotes are. I go to other streamers' streams every once in a while, and my god, they are so on top of these things. Oh, Joel? Alright, that's right. Fish moly is a different fish. I forgot. Joel is the rotating fish. Fish moly is like, I forgot what it was. Was it like a fish's face? Or, I can't remember. It's a sturgeon, I think. Yeah, Joel is like a sardine, and then fish moly is a sturgeon? I can't remember. It's not really important. If we're having any fish in stream, I apologize if I offended you by saying you're not important, but you're not. I felt the this image was too light, so I'm increasing gray by adding more stubble. He does have a shit ton of stubble. Da 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 da. Blobfish went from being a cool internet thing to becoming overexposed. Too many normies know about the blobfish now, so it's no longer cool anymore, unfortunately. I hate that this beard looks like mine. We just casually have a Giga Chad in chat, being like, God, I hate being I hate looking like the fucking Giga Chad. I wish I had a thicker beard, but not really. Dun 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 dun. Remember that one cringe webcomic with the blobfish sidekick? I only know about it because it's reposted on 4chan a lot. That author has some of the worst takes I've ever seen, to the point that I wonder if they're just doing it on purpose to bait people's rage. It certainly works on 4chan. Whenever they have like a post someone else's comics thread, I always see that shit posted and everybody fucking replies to it because they get so angry. Figure drawing design and invention by Michael Hampton. Besides, you don't need to have one book. You can have like multiple books. I bet there's, if you have a local library, you can always like try out multiple books and then buy the one you like. Ultimately, it's not really the books that make you a better artist. It's the amount of hours you spend drawing. This is the dark truth that nobody wants to hear. Everybody's like, which YouTube tutorial should I use? It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Unlike a lot of other things, art is about self-expression, so ultimately it's more about finding yourself than finding the right teacher. And if you don't really have anything that you want to say with learning how to draw or learning with art, you'll never actually, produce something because you don't have anything to say. People who fucking suck at art still are successful. Even if they're bad technically, like one wanted to draw a manga and he didn't care whether he was capable of drawing it or not. But he actually had something that he wanted to say, so that was all that it required. Emotional moment. Yeah, well, the piano helps. This reminds me of the time when I was depressed and I was riding the train in the sunset and Ayanami showed up and she was like, Ikari-kun, you have to make the choice for yourself. And I was like, but Ayanami, I don't know what I should do. When will I have my blue-haired autism girlfriend? Sag. You have to get into Eva. But Dad, I don't want to get into Eva. It's not fair. You don't understand, Dad. I fucking hate you. Shut up, Shinji. I hate you too. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The Evangelion Rebuild movies, while unnecessary, I'm kind of glad that we got to see it go full circle. I'm glad that Anno finally got to come to terms with Shinji and his father and realizing that big titty glasses girls are superior. How and where will the manga be released? It will be on my Patreon first. And then after a while I'll post it all on Twitter. Because a lot of people know about me from YouTube. I'm hoping that I can force people to go from Solus's YouTube to my Patreon page and sub to it so they can read all of it before Solus post all the dub versions. That's my plan. Anno's solution was get a woman to fix you. It worked for him. Also, I think he started taking his meds. I mean, it actually did work for him. Unfortunately. Basically, if you're as talented as he is, you can find your Japanese trad wife to come in and save your ass. Everybody else who isn't attractive or talented enough to get your Japanese trad wife, then you're kind of fucked. But that was always the moral of Eva, wasn't it? If you're a cute like Shinji, then you have multiple girls trying to suck your dick, and then you can be like, no, I don't like you, Asuka, no. Just become rich making one of the most popular anime of all time? Yeah. Just be like a generational talent in animation. Easy. Let's darken some of the lines here and then add a little more gray. Make the beard darker to make the entire page slightly darker. This is why it's always helpful to have black-haired characters. Because you can just sort of make the entire page slightly darker just by having them in the frame. This is why every Japanese manga should have the boring-ass MC that looks exactly the same. Ginger cucks could never. I feel like gingers have really missed the opportunity to be like, guys, it's not okay to say that we don't have souls. What you're doing is racism. We went directly from the whole, like, racism is bad, but you can make fun of gingers to racism is bad. And then gingers count as white people, so you can make fun of them. Like, somehow they completely missed the opportunity to be like, guys, you're literally like being extremely racist right now, and everybody is sort of okay still doing the gingers have no souls meme, including like the ultra leftists who are spending all their time talking about how horrible racism is and stuff. I have yet to hear somebody be like, we shouldn't be making this gingers have no souls joke. It's actually leading to kids get bullied and stuff. Everyone's like, gingers have no souls. I'm like, huh. They did, but we made fun of gingers even harder? Yeah. It's true. I personally think gingers are very attractive. The women, at least. Male gingers are creepy as fuck. Female gingers are hot. Wasn't Judas Besides that, you're kind of like screwed, honestly. Or not be a bitter coping manlet because it shows. Yeah. But it's very hard to not be a bitter coping manlet when you know that everyone's making fun of you, though. Like, it kind of goes with the territory. At least if you have a tiny dick, then it doesn't matter until if you never actually get to sex, right? The opportunity for women to make fun of your tiny penis are pretty limited. However, if you're just a short guy in general, everybody can see how short you are, and they'll never stop making fun of you. You have to basically be either like extremely buff and extremely thick, or extremely attractive like the Hollywood actors that have a lot of charisma. Or you have to be like a psychopath and murder people. I was watching YouTube true crime content, and it was about like some guy whose name was Pee Wee in South Carolina, and he actually did the thing where when he was arrested for his first time for attempting to kill a woman, they put him in prison, and because he didn't want to get gang raped every day, he walked up to the biggest guy in the prison and slit his throat. And I was like, okay, so that whole like prison memes thing is real. This was like in the 70s before it became a meme, I guess. Every Joe Pesci character ever? Yeah, basically. Hey, get your shoe shine box, Tommy. Get your shoe box. You a wine mom watching true crimes now? Yeah, I am. The thing is, when it takes so many hours to finish this many pages, you need to have a shit ton of second screen content. So anything that's even moderately, remotely entertaining, you just have to like fucking find it. Manlets are always angry, and dwarfs are always angry. I guess the IRL manlets were the dwarfs, the fantasy dwarfs all along. They were always there. Dun, 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 dun. Have anger problems. What is woman and loving literal psychopaths? I mean, you can't really blame guys or say that guys are different from women. Every once in a while there'll be a female psychopath, and they get away with a ton more shit than male psychopaths because men are even more like, oh, this is a female psychopath, but she showed up at my door covered in blood and was like, I'm sorry, John, I just need your help. I hit a deer, and I need to use your hose to clean off my car, tee hee hee. And he's like, sure, Sandra, anything for you. There's just not as many female psychopaths, so it's not as obvious. But if there were as many female psychos as there are male psychos, we'd definitely be like men just like crazy women, because they do. I can make her worse? Probably not. I don't think anybody in this chat is on that level. Da-da-da-da. She can ruin me? Yeah, she can definitely ruin you. Females that even aren't psychopaths can ruin you pretty easily. The thing is, even a woman that isn't the type that's going to show up in true crime for murdering, for their triple homicide, there's still plenty of sociopathic women out there who do less obvious crimes, like just constantly lying and shit like that. They're just not as violent, I think. Recently, a woman got stabbed in Japan like these past 2 days or so, and it turned out that she was making money by can't remember specifically what it was. She was receiving money from like some old 50-year-old incel claiming that she would marry him or something, and he was a big like car and motorcycle fanboy or something, and she made him sell all of his hobbies and stuff, sell all of his cars and motorcycles, and give her like, I don't know, the equivalent of $200,000 or $300,000 worth of money. And then when she tried to back out, and he was like, give me my money back if you're not going to marry me, she was like, you're a stalker now. And she reported him to the police as a stalker so he couldn't see her again. So he found her and stabbed her to death. And basically the response from the Japanese internet was like, yeah, that's you're playing with fire, people. You probably shouldn't take away everything, this guy's reason for living, and expect him not to stab you to death. Everyone's like, we don't really care if this woman died. We also don't care that this fucking loser incel got tricked by this woman, but we also don't care that she died. And ironically, another woman who was doing similar type of scam baiting versus men called, I forgot what her name was actually, got arrested, or got, not arrested, but had her sentencing like a week before this. And part of the reason why she had heavy sentencing was she was also publishing like a manual on how to take money from men in this fashion. And in the manual, she went into detail that you shouldn't target men that have hobbies, because ultimately their hobbies are more important than their love for you. And if you force them to give up their hobby, they can easily learn to hate you and like murder you and stuff. And the internet was like, damn, she was actually right about this one. The manual is pretty effective. It's a pretty good manual. So, because Japan doesn't have the American addiction problems like a ton of meth and what's the newest one? I'm forgetting what it was called. All the drugs we have on the street. Instead, they have other forms of addiction like hostess clubs and cabaret clubs, and men and women taking each other's money, claiming that they love them and stuff. And people have been saying that the government should start restricting all of these things, the various clubs, hosts, and stuff like that, but they don't do it. Not really clear why. Fentanyl, that's right. Sorry, I'm not a fentanyl user, so I'm not really familiar with all the fentanyl user stuff. I'll use a bunch of fentanyl and come back to you guys next stream. Surely nothing bad will happen. Overdoses. Dies. I like how America keeps on finding drugs that are somehow worse than the previous drug. It's like, oh, you thought the previous drug was bad? Now this drug, if you don't inject it in the exactly correct dose, you just straight up fucking die within like 5 seconds. LMAO. I can see why people go to hostess clubs, but it's so pathetic. You have to have like a strong tolerance to whatever part of your brain which is telling you that the only reason that this person is talking to you and being nice to you is because you're giving them lots of money. But apparently these people can lie to themselves and ignore the fact that, you know, these women aren't actually interested in them, or men in the case of hosts. It's actually kind of bizarre. It's like self-hypnosis. I truly don't understand it. But I guess some people aren't talented, so they don't have an opportunity for somebody to be like, wow, you're so amazing. Ever in their entire life. Nobody has ever been nice to them, ever. So, as a result, they're just like, I just need someone to say, I'm trying hard or something. Good for me. Give me my good boy points. Does sex ever happen? Well, the whole point is to try and trick guys into thinking that sex will happen at some point. But I don't think it happens very often. On both sides, whether it's the hosts or hostesses or whatever. If you keep on giving them exorbitant amounts of money, eventually they're like, oh, I might think of meeting you outside of the infrastructure of the club. And then you're like, oh shit, we're finally gonna have sex. And then you drag them out for another like $10,000 or whatever, probably more than 10,000, and you might or might not have sex with them eventually. But whatever the ultimate consequence is, you're paying way too much money. That's what you have to remember, considering there's actual prostitution in Japan that you can just go to normally. I doubt they care much about sex. I mean, ultimately guys want to have sex in some context. See, unlike those people that have to go to cabaret clubs, I have my chat that will be like, oh, you're so amazing. So I don't need that for to go to the club for that level of approval. I can just go to my Twitch stream and complain about how chat sucks, and they'll be like, oh, but your art is so good. And I'll be like, fuck you, no! And then there we go. Then I don't have to waste money. Can we go back to memeing about manga? Don't worry, the manga memes are always around the corner. Considering I don't go to cabaret clubs, so I don't really know much about them. All aren't hostess consumers just tired businessmen like 90% of Japan's workforce? I don't know. I hear that most of the host consumers, that's the male side of cabaret clubs, are women who are working as prostitutes, basically. They have this weird cycle where women go into debt to support their host addiction, and then in order to relieve stress from all the prostitution they're doing, they go to more host clubs. It's this weird vicious cycle. Have you stopped uploading your new works to Twitter? No, I haven't stopped uploading my new works to Twitter. It's just that my new work is 38 pages long, so I've been drawing it my entire month, this last month and a half or so, with a brief break to play Dragon's Dogma. It's just been me drawing this one comic, long form comic, which is taking me way too much time. That's why. That's a lot of pages. Yeah, it's basically professional level page amount. 40 pages basically, so this will be uploaded soon. I'm almost done. I'm working on page like 33 or 34 right now, so we're getting close to the end. It's been more than 2 months now. Shut up. I'm being optimistic here. Silence. It's hard for me to get through like more than 2 pages a day. It's more like 1 page a day, and I'm not even counting the storyboarding process. The start of the manga arc was 6 years ago. You have to let it go. Wrong. The start of the manga arc was 23 years ago when I was 14 and I decided I was going to become a best-selling Jump author and be super rich and successful. And it's never fucking ended. When a man gives up on his dreams, that's when he fucking dies. Even if I don't make it, I can't stop trying, or else I'm emotionally fucking done. I can't just be drawing Twitter memes for the rest of my life, guys. That's not a life for anybody. There isn't any future in that, considering Elon is trying to crash the plane with no survivors right now. Is that a One Piece reference? No, it's a JoJo reference. I don't know. I'm surprised that some mangas have more than 14 pages each week. The standard number of pages for a manga is, for a weekly manga, is 16. That's the minimal amount of pages, unless it's a comedy manga and they give you fewer pages. If you're a popular manga, it's usually more than 16. It's like 18 to 23. So let that sink in for a while. Fucking 23 pages a week? Fuck me. Even if I make it, I'm never going to do weekly manga. That shit is like, you're just asking yourself to die in your 50s. Is Twitter still going to turbo shit? Haven't kept up with that. I haven't been on Twitter, despite it being where I post my shit, so I wouldn't even know. But yeah, I assume so. Elon isn't any smarter than he was a while ago, so how good can it... It's never going to get better, that's for sure. Freaking Elon, what a wacky guy. He's the only one that can save us and take us to Mars, guys. We have to believe in his possibilities. Okay, that's enough classical music. It's gone really quiet right now. What the fuck, classical music? Pixar Jazz. There's like a jazz version of every single popular animation studio. Ghibli Jazz, Pixar Jazz. I fucking hate how Ghibli has just become the ultimate, just like normie white woman female shit at this point. Let's go fast, guys. Wicked Steer, let's go! I tried driving DoorDash with my Eurobeat playlist on for like a minute, and I was like, okay, I'm driving way too fast. It's working, but I'm gonna kill somebody soon, so I decided it was probably not a good idea. Would you willingly submit to be a Drow's manslave? No. The only situation in which I would become a Drow manslave is if I was confident in my having a super penis and I felt like I could sexually break her if given the opportunity. which I'm not that delusional, so. But that's the true male fantasy right there. To have a dominant female realize that your penis is too strong. Unfortunately, this rarely happens in real life. They don't want willing slaves. We'll see about that. Nah, I'd just be her slave. Everybody in chat is just like, God, I just wish a woman would pay attention to me for 5 seconds. I don't care if it just means that I have to be her slave. Unfortunately, in real life, the option of being a slave costs you a lot of money. You have to pay like $300 for slave play. You're asking for a very expensive service to be a man-slave of a sexually attractive woman, unfortunately. That's just not how it works. There's no such thing as a free lunch, guys. You want to coom, you want to have a dommy mommy step on your penis, then you have to pay up. Mind break a dominant house matron with the power of your fat cock. I mean, that's literally what this manga is about, by the way. If that's what your type of thing is, and that is what my type of thing is, this is the manga for you. I was just like, you know what? There's not enough manga about mind-breaking, dominant drow female. Spoilers, dude. That's not a spoiler, that's like the basic concept of the manga. That's like saying, dude, are you telling me that someone is gonna get murdered in this murder mystery? All these people showing up at this old English manor. Are you saying that one of them is gonna die in a murder? Oh my god. Fucking spoilers, man. Nah, it's the basic concept. Drows are a matriarchy. That's why we must destroy them with our penises, fellow men. I just want someone that tells me what the fuck they want and is not a massive bitch, not much else. You're being pretty entitled there, my friend. As a man, it is your job to guess exactly what the woman wants, even though she won't tell you. That's what it means to be a good guy, just to be emotionally available at all times and be constantly guessing what the woman actually wants, and if you make the wrong decision, then she'll get even more angry at you. What do you mean that she just want her to tell you what she wants? Don't be so fucking entitled. The world was not made for autistic men? Exactly. That's why I'm okay with not reproducing. I don't care if the woman is a 10 out of 10. As soon as she pulls that female move of being like, you need to predict exactly what my feelings are shit, then I'm fucking done, so... I cannot predict what I am going to do in the next 10 seconds. Base spontaneity, Chad. Women claim that they want to have a spontaneous partner, but they don't actually want that. They're not ready for that spontaneity life. But what if you could find a girl who actually knows to communicate? You should go and try dating in the autism section, I guess. Try to find one of those rare female autists. That might be your best chance there. Penguin of Doom energy, yeah. It's pretty fucking cringe. Not gonna lie. You have to be prepared for extremely high levels of cringe if you want your autist girlfriend. When was the last time you tried dating? Like 12 years ago, maybe? I remember installing Match.com for about a week, and then they started asking me for money because they're a business, and I was like, no, and I uninstalled. You can suck my cock, Match.com. I'm never giving you money. An attempt was made? Not really. Honestly, I can't stand being around other human beings for extended periods of time. So, it's kind of a non-starter. All of my memories are when I'm alone, by the way. That's how I really know that I'm not built for, like, human company. Like, I can't remember other people, and I can't remember what I was doing with other people. Like, all of my, like, special memories that I keep locked up deep inside me are, like, when I'm fucking alone. So I'm like, okay, this is I think this is a sign. But I just want to be alone. Oh no. This is my life. Shiny, yeah. Shiny booba. You don't need to have any kind of actual lighting source for the booba to be shiny. Sometimes it just is. Oh. Oh. Do drow elves darken with age or lighten up? They maintain the same darkness. Elves don't change over time. I feel like that's their main appeal. They're like trees or rocks. The rest of the world leaves them behind. Don't get you, space boy. They only die when they're killed, yeah. In my manga, I just want them to be semi-immortal. Or they kind of get bored of living and then they just sort of die off. Is how I interpret them. Elf Suicide Forest. They just like me, for real, for real. I just think about how old I've gotten in like the last 10 years. Being like, God, video games suck right now. A comment rant on this stream. Now multiply that by like 5,000 years. You can imagine why they're like, I think I will stop associating with modern society now and just like live alone in the forest. Or just like straight up die and become a tree or something like that. I already feel like... Imagine if the only people around you are fucking Zoomers right now. Who are like... God, for real, bussin'. And you're like, Jesus Christ. Is this how they're gonna speak English from now on? And the answer is yes. And there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, that alone is enough of a reason to just be like, I think I'm just gonna stop living now. Dating an elf for real would suck? No, it wouldn't. The worst part about dating a woman is that, or especially marrying a woman, is that they're gonna hit the wall. Even if you get a 10 out of 10 25-year-old female like Leonardo DiCaprio, they're gonna hit the wall at 26. Whereas an elf, they're gonna be still super hot, even when like you're about to die from dementia. That's a huge plus in my opinion. Call me superficial, but I like my women to be eternally beautiful. I am 23 and don't understand more than half of the new speech. For real, bussin', my friend. What if I like MILFs though? I think that under traditional fantasy rules, you're especially gonna have a problem because elves are supposed to be kind of like thin and not busty. Night fever. On God, no cap, gat. You know what truly bothered me? Like 10 years ago, people started using literally as a phrase for emphasis, when before that you would only use the term literally when it was a situation that you were usually describing something on a metaphoric level, except it was actually happening. Like, you would be, a situation would be like, yeah, he was totally on fire, literally. And then that would describe a situation in which on fire is a phrase we use to describe, like, someone, like, being really sexy or something, or having a really good night. But then by using the term literally, you had an interesting situation where the guy was literally on fire. But then people started using literally for emphasis, and then they started using literally in a situation that was clearly metaphorical, and it ruined the entire thing. And this happened like 10 years ago, and it started happening, and I knew that it was starting to catch on, and I was like, I don't like this at all. Please stop using literally for metaphorical situations. You did not literally die. In fact, you quite metaphorically died. Not even close to being literal. And it bugged the hell out of me, but I was powerless to stop it. And now everybody uses literally for emphasis. And there's nothing I can do about it. Even I use it because I got influenced by everybody else and how they speak. You sound so done, even more than usual. I've been drawing a lot. I've been pushing to get to the end. Words have more than one meaning? Yeah, but it fucking sucks. There are some versions of new speech that don't bother me, but the use of literally for emphasis bothers me. Or at least it used to bother me. It doesn't bother me anymore because I've just straight up given up. He's literally me right now? No, I'm not literally you. That's the problem, right? Ball's got to hit his deadlines or he'll be shot out of a cannon by publishing. I need to improve my speed so that I can hit my deadlines. I want to make it, guys. What I'm doing is essentially, if like your dad was like, I'm sorry, Ted, I love you very much, but I want to become a professional baseball player. That was my dream as a kid. I'm quitting my job. And you're like, Dad, you're like 45. And he's like, yeah, but I still got it. And then they make a fucking Disney movie out of it. That's basically what we're doing right now. Except that I've been drawing the past 20 years, so I'm actually good. We're all gonna make it. Feels good, man. I don't know if you guys are gonna make it or not, but I'm gonna fucking make it. I ain't done yet, boys. Would you still be BaalBud if you got published in Japan? No. That's a weird-ass name. Also, all of my Twitter accounts are full of fan art, so I don't think they probably want that. Although, I guess it depends where you get published, I guess. Like, if I get published in a porn magazine, it doesn't fucking matter. Pretty much every porn author puts out, like, 700 pages worth of doujins every year, so they don't give a fuck about stepping on copyrights. But there are a few people who got popular on Pixiv, that just straight up deleted their Pixiv accounts and stuff when they went pro. So, or maybe not deleted it, but had like porn of their characters and they got rid of that shit, that type of stuff. Oh. Old Masters paintings were biblical fan art or Greek god fan art. And it wasn't really fan art. You just were only allowed to publish shit in the form of biblical stories and stuff. You wanted to draw big titty woman getting raped by something, you had to be like, haha guys, this is a classical Greek scene where the centaurs are raping these women. I'm not horny or anything, LMAO. Hashtag just artist things. Everything had to be sanctioned by the Catholic Church. Imagine put your OC into the Bible and it becoming well known and accepted. I mean, isn't that what Jesus is? You have the Old Testament, and then some new Jewish guy shows up and he's like, LMAO, all this old shit is fucking corrupt. And then Peter is like, yeah, you know what? We're adding a fucking second book. And then the classicists are like, nah, I don't accept your dojin, that's not canon. My god, no diffs your god. Is this another Zoomer word that I don't even know? No diff. What does that even mean? It's power scaling lingo? Jesus Christ, I fucking hate power scaling. Like, is it from situations where people are arguing over Goku versus Superman and shit? Is that where that stuff comes from? Because that is like the cringiest content you can have on the planet. Not the power scalers. Yes, yes. Oh god. People who actually spend their time arguing online about the power levels of fictional characters are some of the saddest people on the planet. It's unbelievably sad. I can't believe this is some shit that people do. It came from the anime side of things and got widespread. It's terrifying that we're letting the anime power scaling nerds dictate our language going forward. Surely we can have better people to learn our English from than the people who are arguing over who is more powerful, Flash or Green Lantern. That's an easy answer, by the way. It's always Flash. Someone asked Stan Lee who would win in a fight, and he said that's whoever the writer wants to win. I think that's incorrect. Isn't it probably who the publisher wants to win? Like, I don't know if the writers have that much power, to be honest. Although, considering how shitty a lot of the stories in DC and Marvel are, I guess they probably get away with situations where they're like, and then Spider-Woman defeats the Hulk or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what a good example would be. My imaginary character is stronger than your imaginary character. It's not even that. I mean, if you're doing the OC fights with your Sonic OCs, maybe, but it's that other imaginary character written by other people is stronger than your imaginary character, which is even more cringe. I miss when liking anime was a bullyable thing. Now you'll get bullied if you actually don't watch your Jujutsu Kaisen. You'll be left out of the conversation in the school. Imagine that. There's some kid whose parents don't allow him to watch anime, and he can't join in on the fucking Jujutsu Kaisen discussion, and he doesn't have as many friends because of that. We've finally gone full circle. What a dystopian world we live in. You go to school in 2024, and Tyrone, who in the 90s who would be like wearing Michael Jackson coats or bringing his 18 plus only Ice Cube CD to school, and it is instead talking about power levels in Jujutsu Kaisen and talking about how awesome Gojo is and stuff like that. The West has fallen. The star cornerback of your football team is like, before every football game, I make sure to watch this YouTube mix of the most awesome Jujutsu Kaisen fight scenes to get me fired up. I imagine that I'm a Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. It allows me to run faster. Let the fans argue. Are they really even fans, though? They're just like spurging out. Besides, we all know that Goku is stronger than Superman. It's not even an argument. Goku would shoot Superman in the head and kill him. Superman doesn't like guns, so he wouldn't be able to defend himself. Superman could take a Kamehameha, but I feel that two would consider each other equals in a way. I mean, Goku just sees some strong people and he wants to fight with them automatically. So Goku and Superman fighting isn't exactly weird. Goku would see Superman and he's like, I'm starting to feel Waku Waku, and it's time to fight now. That's just like hashtag Goku things, unfortunately. I can't get over the fact that Superman's powers come from the sun that he's around. So just by definition, he shouldn't have anything more than like local solar system level powers, right? And yet he's often listed as like the most powerful character in all history. And I recently saw like an image of DC resetting all of their canon for like the 8,000th time by Superman being like extremely angry or something, and his power just gets so high that he just resets all the timelines of the universe or some shit. And I'm just like, none of this shit makes sense. Like, I know we all know it doesn't make sense, but what happens if Superman impregnates a human woman? I mean, haven't we already had this set up with Lois Lane multiple times, and like she dies in childbirth or whatever? There's a bunch of different scenarios that they explore. I have never understood why DC and Marvel do shit like that. I don't know. I guess they don't worry about long-term storytelling, or more like they care about long-term storytelling too much, and then they have to resolve all their built-up issues. So they have to keep interest. This is what goes for any kind of media. You have to keep interest short-term, but then you have to keep some sort of long-term world building and story organization, or else it starts to lose its ability to make sense. And because Marvel and DC have been going for so long, eventually all of their long-term storytelling no longer makes sense. But they should just like not worry about it very much. But because they sell all of this shit to nerds, they have like a really strong desire for the canon to make sense. So then they have to be like Crisis on Multiple Earths shit, so that they can like consolidate all of their storylines, so it fits into a clean package. But from like a casual fan, that shit is extremely unappealing. It's actually really bad, which is why American comics are losing to Japanese manga like 2-1 or something. I don't know. Like in America. Bad sign, by the way. Spider-Man killed Mary Jane with radioactive jizz in one story? Yeah. He just like me, for real, for real. That's why I'm single right now, by the way. My jizz was too powerful. I think DC just needs a total overhaul. They already tried having a total overhaul many times. That's the problem. Because they keep on trying to overhaul shit. It seems like we don't have as many comic book nerds in chat right now as we usually do. But whenever I complain about American comics, there's always like 4 or 5 people who just am like, yes, I am an expert on this subject. But I have yet to hear any one of them be like, all the people who seem to have read a shit ton of comics, none of them actually come in to like defend the comic book industry. They're always like, yes, you are right. It's completely stupid and worthless. I'm like, okay, well, that's not a good sign. People in Japan read manga on public transportation, and that most of the US requires car ownership or simply isn't peaceful enough to facilitate reading on a train. America doesn't read. Period. Whether it's cars or whatever. Japan has a shit ton of bookstores, dude. How many bookstores do you ever see in America? There's like a Barnes & Noble in your vicinity if you're lucky. That's about it. In Japan, there's multiple bookstores at like every train station. You'll be shocked at the number of like physical books that Japanese still are sale in brick and mortar stores. Americans just don't fucking want to read. They want to watch TV. That was always the case even before like the internet and stuff. I mean, Americans can't even fucking read subtitles. You remember that? Everyone being like, I can't be bothered to read subtitles while I watch a movie. It's like, holy shit, these people are legitimately retarded. It's actually kind of sad. Sad how the US has fallen. I mean, US literacy rate was always bad, by the way. I'm so fucking bad at these manga lines. Shu-chu-sen. I've been practicing them. It's a delicate art of knowing when to, how to make them, how thick to make them, the spacing, all of that stuff. I shudder thinking if I actually had to do this with ink and paper instead of being allowed unlimited amounts of redos to get it right. I'm doing it in total easy mode because there's a you make a layer with the special ruler, and then all of your lines just automatically go to that location. You don't have to try hard at all. But even that is too much in my case. Or even that is not enough for me to be good at it. It's more about the white space that is created by the lines instead of the lines themselves. It's like you're drawing space, like the atmosphere closing in on a location is how I try to think of it. But I don't know if that's good advice because I've just said that I'm not good at it, so. I think the Reagan era left a radioactive black hole culture-wise, maybe. I'm old, but I'm not old enough to remember the difference between the Reagan era, post and pre-Reagan era America, so I really can't say. English is the most simple caveman language ever. Japanese is way harder. I mean, it's hard to compare because Japanese is really hard to learn if you're an English speaker, so it feels like it's super difficult. It is an extremely difficult language. It has a very high floor, Japanese, just to be proficient enough to function in Japanese society. You have to be able to use 3 alphabets, a shit ton of characters, and then also be able to do polite versions of stuff. If you want to just be a functional adult in Japanese society using Japanese. The good thing is that they're not expecting that out of you if you're a gaijin, but... English has a much lower floor. So even if like you speak another Romance language or something, you can get to a proficient level in English very quickly, right? If you're like a Spanish-speaking immigrant, you can probably learn how to speak English pretty quickly. It's not like the Japanese emperor does anything, guys. Do you like my car? All the Japanese people feel bad about not being able to speak English, which is also funny. I was just in a stream of one of the classic Resident Evil 4 speedrunners who has the world record. I don't know if he still has the world record, but he was like super apologetic about being made one of the mods of like the RE4 speedrunning Discord, which is full of American English-speaking speedrunners, and him like taking time to provide feedback and stuff because he can't do English. And I was just like, you know what? Americans feel the same way about not being able to speak Japanese because they all try to learn Japanese so that they can watch anime and stuff. And he was like, yeah, but English is like the lingua franca, right? So don't the Japanese learn English very mechanical? Japanese like get a solid, I don't know, 5 years to about, I don't know, like 8 years of English education in their schools, and they all fucking suck at English because the people that are teaching the English, the teachers are bad at English. The entire system is just bad at teaching them English. But the truth is that Japanese is just very much unrelated to English. So a lot of Japanese have good memorization of English terminology and stuff. But if it comes to like actually having a conversation in English, they just don't have the ability to listen to English spoken quickly like I'm doing right now. So they get tripped up because of that. What do you think the closest language is to Japanese? There is no closest language. There's like a graph. I've talked about this before on the stream, but there's like, it's a how difficult the language is to speak, to learn from an English speaker, and Japan is like in its own special SS class, super rare, giga difficulty. It's category on its own, so there basically isn't anything similar to it. Korean sounds the closest to me. Korea doesn't have, it sounds close, but it doesn't have the written difficulty because they got rid of all their character use. They used to have characters just like Japan and China, and then they were like, this fucking sucks, let's all start using an alphabet, and then they made Hangul the alphabet. And then now nobody can use characters in Korea. So Korean is easier from that aspect, from the writing aspect to learn than Japanese. Significantly easier. It sounds pretty similar. Actually, Korea being in between Japan and China Also, the language also feels like, at least it definitely sounds like a combination of Chinese and Japanese, which is, you know, it kind of makes sense, right? I got a question. Go ahead. I'll answer it for $5. That's a special sub reward, is that I answer your question. Oh, actually I should have a bar at the bottom of the screen. Streamer will answer a question once we get to 10,000 subs or something. I draw so much faster traditionally. I can't stand not being able to undo shit, honestly. I'm never going back to traditional. You should have sub goals for real. I'm not interested in making money from Twitch. I don't want to have a platform in which for every dollar that I get from my subs, half of it goes to Mr. Bezos. Fuck that. It's such a bad deal. Traditional chads never fuck up ever. Yeah, especially if you're doing in pen and ink like you have to do in manga. It truly is like, you better not never fuck up. There's an undo button for traditional, it's called an eraser. Yeah, try doing that with pen and ink, motherfucker. You can still use whiteout, but you basically get maybe like 1 or 2 chances with whiteout, and then the whiteout, you know, it starts to build up on top of the paper, and then you have to like get a copy machine or something and like paste another sheet on top of it and stuff. Do you get furry commissions or suggestions? Not really. The meme of furries dominating the internet isn't as true as what you might think. They generally stay within their communities, so... They're sort of a closed loop echo chamber furries. Furries are less cringe now anyways? I don't know about that. That's quite a statement right there. Do you have any shred of evidence of that? Are we doing our like everything was better back when I was young take, except now it's like in my time furries were cringier? Nowadays furries use proper diapers instead of shitting everywhere on the floor. I respect how I respect the furries more just for the fact that I haven't seen them spill their shit everywhere. They spill their shit in their own like furry cons and stuff, but you don't really have to worry about the furries like charging into your stream and asking you to draw furry content if you're not a furry artist, at least. They have their own artists, so unlike, say, the foot coomers who are like, huh, hello, Mr. Artist. I think you're really talented, and I really like the picture you're drawing right now, but have you considered that perhaps this character would be more attractive if she was not wearing any shoes? Just a suggestion, haha. I am not a foot fetishist at all. I just thought that it would be really cool if I could see her toes, haha. Just a joke, but for real. The Tay army now shits in diapers waiting outside of a hotel for their goddess. The diaper is now on the other ass. I mean, is that like an actual... Has someone actually confirmed that? Because the Swifties, that's exactly what I expect them to be doing, honestly. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Swifties were like, yes, I do shit in diapers. That's my level of dedication. Older furries seem more chill at least, but the younger ones are fucking schizos. I mean, I think they're... I don't know, man. I try and not associate with furries to begin with, so if there's any kind of improvement or decline in furry behavior, I don't think I would actually notice. You need too much stuff to get off. Is that why they have to wear diapers? Don't they just wear diapers because they think it's hot? She's a 10 out of 10 but a furry. Ugh. I don't know if I'd be able to get a boner if I have to wear a fursuit to fuck my girlfriend. I feel like as soon as I was wearing that thing, it would be like, my penis is gonna shut down. How do I get good at drawing like you? You're my role model for art. You have to draw a long time. I've been drawing for like 20 years now, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not sugarcoating it. All the YouTube videos that you see are going to be like, this is how I improved at art in 1 month. And I'm like, yeah. They don't want to tell people the truth that it takes a really, really, really long time to get good at drawing. You would have to be in the community, take a break, and then come back to see the changes. Yeah, I guess so. Do furries really fucking fursuits? Yes. That's why they have specialized fursuits that allow for them to, like, open up a hole and take out their dick. Viewer critique stream when? Do we even have people posting shit in the Discord? I mean, viewer critique doesn't take much time in my case because I'm just like, it's okay, next, it's okay, next. Somebody thinks that I have any kind of bot Discord shit set up. No, I have nothing. If you want to get into the Discord, you have to sub to my Patreon or the Twitch stream, and then you should get a bot invite or something. It's mainly there for people who want to commission me, because I do auctions for my artwork. It's not really a great Discord for doing anything besides commissioning me, honestly. There's some socialization that happens there. But most people just show up for like the 5 seconds in which I have a commission auctions open and then fuck off. The main problem with video game comics, especially the early ones, is that the writers behind said comics were never gamers themselves. Are you talking about shit like Penny Arcade, or shit like the MMOs in the Japanese isekai shit, where it's like, oh my god, I've been reincarnated into the video game I played, but it's so obvious that the author of that Japanese story hasn't actually been playing video games at all. Archie Sonic, oh, that type of video game comic, really early shit. Archie Sonic had writers from Alf and Muppet Babies comics. But was that a problem? It gave Archie Sonic like a weird personality to it that it wouldn't have gotten if people respected the source material. Isekais need to be put on cooldown for like 20 years. No more isekais. You guys don't get to decide it. You don't actually make any money for the publishing companies. When's the time you gave money to any sort of isekai content? Never, right? So, you're not the customer to begin with. You're already boycotting it. So it's gonna exist whether you like it or not. I mean, let's be honest, Westerners on the internet complaining about Japanese media is just like completely off base because none of you guys pay for your Japanese media anyways. You're pirating all that shit. The Japanese publishing companies don't give a fuck whether you like it or not. If Blu-rays weren't so expensive. The Blu-ray economic model is weird as hell for anime, but the truth is Crunchyroll is probably paying the Japanese anime studio like 5 cents. So it's not particularly weird that they produce stuff that is going to sell Blu-rays. Is it gay if I coom with your stream in the background? Yes. Sometimes I want to jack off because the NBA game goes on forever. And I'm flipping between the porn that I'm looking up on the internet and then like sweaty guys playing basketball, and I'm like, this is gay as fuck. I'm trying to maintain my boner while I'm looking at a big sweaty man. My brain is gonna get confused. I should probably stop this. It's only okay to coom with a female streamer in the background. I will not elaborate. Make sure you notify her in the chat that you're jacking off to her right now. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. Be like, hee Amaranth-chan. I'm so close. Actually, speaking of NBA, I believe a game is on right now. What's the score? Oh shit. Mavs up by 5. Alright guys, I'm going to end the stream here. We've been going for 2.5 hours. And I want to watch the fourth quarter of the basketball game. See you around, guys. I don't know if I'll be done with this comic before the next stream, but I feel like I'll be done with it before the next stream or so. We're that close. 33, 34, 35, 36. Yeah. We're almost done. See you around, guys. Good night. Good night.